It's funny, like being here and contrasting this with the Bardenas Desert, where I've spent quite a bit of time. It's the similarities but differences. Like the sand, the compressed kind of mud banks, and the cracked earth is quite similar, but then the vegetation is a lot more lush and green. So I can kind of see what they mean about it being a semi-arid desert rather than, a full desert like the Tabanas. I've never been to this place before. Been to the Tabanas a couple of times now. So it's really nice seeing, some other areas in Spain. This is like in the far north as well, which is, peculiar because, you'd think that all the deserts would be clustered together in a country, but they're not. If you think about America, most of the deserts are concentrated in the southwest. And but I guess it just really depends on how the geography is of a very specific area. And this desert in particular is like this weird plateau that sticks out across the landscape. And it's just it's mostly flat actually once you get up on the plateau. It feels a bit like the moors in Yorkshire, Not sure if anyone's ever been there, but the Yorkshire moors or the moors in the UK in general tend to be on these high plateaus. And once you get on top of them, they're like flat. It's like a mesa. Mesa, being Spanish for table. So, table mountain, I guess. And once you get up here, the landscape is flat, except for these weird, towers. A slightly better angle to view this rock from. The Castel de Tierra. So the Earth Castle, as it's named. But it's like one word. So there was a sign there like kind of explaining the geology and how these kind of formations fall through erosion. And I've shown like a future picture where, in the far future that peak will have eroded off into a very nondescript looking hill. So it's interesting how we humans, we like these features, we like these interesting, things, like these highlights in the landscape. But then any other like normal mountain doesn't seem that spectacular to us. I wonder where that line is drawn, Don't really know. But that's that famous mountain from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What's it called? Like the Devil's something? The Devil's Tower. I thought that was in Yellowstone National Park. I might be wrong. Somewhere in the northern United States. And it's just so unique. It's just so strange. And I don't know, it's something about the human psyche, I guess. We don't register like a normal looking hill, but as soon as it starts looking a little bit pointy or wacky, it's suddenly like a point of interest to us. Reminds me of like all these conspiracy theories claiming that mountain from the Close Encounters of the Third Kind is like some kind of ancient tree root. Like if you look at it from above, it looks like a stump of a tree, so there must be some kind of ancient giant tree or something. But it's all bullshit, of course, but can you imagine? Oh, that'd be cool. Just one giant ass sequoia tree that tilts the earth just by its weight alone. Can you imagine how it would just reach up? I'm still a bit early in the morning, so you can see like the light kind of being cast across the side of the hill there. You can see all the crags very nicely. So even though it's busy up on the park up, I guess not a lot of people are doing the hike. It's like a nice little 1 to 2 hour hike around this area. And I just thought I'd get here before anyone else does. There's absolutely zero signs here for any hiking trails, so keep a close eye on my route. This is where it says the trail continues. Probably would have missed that. Oh wow, look at that. Little natural archway. Wow. Yeah, don't get stuck in that mud. My gosh. That's some deep tracks. I wouldn't want to come here when it's just rained. Oh wow. It looks so fragile. I'm just so surprised that these are still standing. I mean, you can tell by the tracks it rains here a bit more than in the Tabanas Desert, and you can see the erosion and the pockmarking on the side here. And yet, this is still standing. I mean, you never know for how long, right? I mean, there's some famous places in America that had these kind of natural arches that have actually crumbled. And it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like we assign so much value to these beautiful things, but they change over time. The thing is, of course, we always only see the breakdown of things. We don't consider the fact that these things are also growing. But it happens over such a long time scale that we don't really have a feeling of things changing for the better almost, or for more interesting things. And then at what point do they become a feature? It's like we as humans have been in this landscape for a couple of million years. And at what point does it become interesting enough that attracts our attention? We always we think about the Earth and the climate as being pretty static, and obviously it's not. We all know climate change. But one of the most fascinating parts, I think, is the fact that we're still in sort of an ice age, because the climate at the time of the dinosaurs was apparently way hotter than it is now. And there were barely any poles, barely any ice, any permanent ice on the Earth. And it just blows your mind, doesn't it, to think they lived on an Earth that was on average 20 degrees Celsius or something. It's just warm all the time, completely different. But we think of these ice sheets as being like this permanent fixture, this ancient part of Earth, but it's not really, And the Earth doesn't mourn any losses. The Earth just is, which sounds pretty mumbo jumbo, woo woo, whatever, but it's true. And we always think about the Earth or evolution having some kind of purpose or will or direction, but it really doesn't. It just is, and it just is. It's optimal as it is now. And the only thing that counts is the present, which is should be the attitude to anything in life, I guess, but it's just not innate to the human brain, is it? We like to think about the future. We like to think about we like to think about us moving somewhere with a reason. But I think once you let go of that, it becomes so much more free to just be. And again, this is gonna sound super fucking pretentious, but I mean, that's the one thing that, living in a camper van has kind of brought me, or just in general, my attitude to life changing in the last, 10 years or so, I guess. It's just, I used to have plans for the future. Well, they were never defined plans. I guess I was never one to really plan my future, but I did have some kind of idea of where I wanted to head. And now I just really don't. And it's not because I've given up. It's just because I live more fully to just enjoy the things that I see right now, which is for example, this incredible cool little nook. And this really does remind me of those sandstone pillars that I saw in the Bardenas Desert, It's just slightly different color, a bit more brown, but and grass in the middle, and it's more lush. But that's so cool, isn't it? It's constantly breaking down, constantly changing. It's a beautiful rosemary in bloom. Oh, it smells so good. Just doing what's best for me at the moment. And especially with how volatile things are in the world at the moment. And I guess they've always been. People say, oh, life's always been the same way. The world's always been the same way. There's a couple of things that are a little different, I think. There's a bit more pressure on the earth. And I think a lot of the things that are happening in the world are a result of these pressures rather than it being the reverse. I think we as human beings are much more of a system than we think. We're much more of a eusocial species, which is a species that functions almost like a hive or like an organism as a whole. We think we're all individuals, but then the bigger systems at play, we can't always see them happening. I'm pretty sure that individual ants have no fucking clue why they do what they do. They just do it. And we as humans think we're such individuals, but then we're, probably slaves to something bigger, bigger impulses, bigger instincts, bigger movers at play. And a lot of stresses in the world are probably a result of something bigger happening, which might be climate change, might be all sorts of things. I can't even begin to understand it. So what can the individual ant do, The individual ant, is if the only purpose to life is to, have some kind of happiness or experience as much happiness as possible, then I might as well fucking focus on the now, because that's all I have. I really have to keep the philosophical rambling to a minimum on this channel, I think, because, God, I can just whine on forever about it. Something I always find funny is when I come to these kind of places and I go hiking, I see nobody, even though at the parking spot there's like loads of people just having a gander at, whatever the feature is they want to look at. So I'm always like, people come to these places to look at it, but don't really look at it. They just look at the highlight. And, I think you should get out there a bit. If you're able-bodied, just go for a freaking hike or something, even if it's a short one. It's worth it, Most people don't seem to want to put in the effort to actually go to a place. They just want to drive up somewhere, take a few pictures and go home. But I don't know, have you really immersed yourself in the landscape at that point? Maybe I'm just being, a bit poncy about it, but I don't care. So I'm just up on the side of the trail now, and you can tell the wide landscape here. I hope I can be heard over the sound of the jets, because this right here is the military range, so I guess they're flying the jets today. But I'm just passing by one of these big structures in the middle of nowhere, and I was really curious what the hell this was up on the rocks. Is it kind of fuzzy looking? It might be a lichen, because you see some lichen there, but I've never seen lichen that looks like grey and fuzzy. So today I'm in Pamplona, which is a sizable city in the north of Spain, and I've actually made pretty good progress, much more progress than I thought I would, driving north. Even though I've only got a limited amount of time to spend in Spain, I'm actually really close to the border, only about an hour and a half. So I'm just taking a wander down the river path that leads straight into the city, and I'm usually always quite pleased with the way that Spanish cities are laid out. Like even the poorer cities tend to have really nice bicycling networks, as you can see here. It's like a nice wide footpath and there's a cycling path. So Pamplona is also known as Iruña, which is the Basque name for the city. And I just did a little cursory look in Google, and basically it means the city in the original Basque country, because it used to be like one of the capitals or one of the main cities in the region. And then of course Rome came along, Romans, and they were like, nah, we'll stamp our own name onto the city. So they are the ones who named it Pamplona. You see the river running below, and the city kind of sweeps up onto the bank there. It's pretty cool. A pretty gate. I've no idea what to expect of this city, because I really don't know much about it. Just on top of the city wall now, and you can tell the city lies kind of at the foot of the Pyrenees. So after this it starts to get rugged pretty quickly. I just did a quick walk through the city, and it's really not that big, you know, like there's many medium-sized cities in Spain, so I just absolutely love that laid-back atmosphere of, you know, everyone having a drink on the weekend, and you know, even though I'm on my own 99% of the time, you know, I don't have anyone to drink with or anything. I don't even go drinking at all on my own. It's just really enjoyable to kind of soak in the atmosphere and have all these people chatting around you and this noise and children playing in the street and stuff. It's just, yeah. I mean, the town that I'm from in the Netherlands also has this really communal feel, this atmosphere, especially on the weekends when all the tourists come to the town to, you know, soak in the terraces and enjoy a beer and in the sunshine next to the church, and it's beautiful. I really, you know, enjoy that kind of communal aspect of the city. But I think in Spain especially, every city is like that, and I can't say the same for the Netherlands, you know. But yeah, I love it, like soaking up the atmosphere. Sometimes it's just lovely, you know. I never get lonely because, you know, you're always around people, and of course it's different being with friends and family. It's very, very different, but you still get your fill of like this communal feeling, and it's great. It's one of the best aspects of traveling around. I can choose whether I want to be on my own or immersed and around people. And yeah, today's just a quick visit because it's actually around getting close to 6 o'clock now.